You might be familiar with this already because these often come bundled with the Strike Eagles. 1 to 6, 1 to 8. They did with the Gen 1, which is when I got this, and with the Gen 2, I've seen them pop up again. I put it on my shelf, it got buried in the back, and I completely forgot I had it until I cleaned up a couple weeks ago. I was like, you know what? I'm stupid for letting this thing sit for as long as it has. Let me dust it off and put it through its paces. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. This thing is, I believe, made in China. The original box for this is long gone. You have one single pick slot right there, which engages on a mount a little bit better than the Swamp Fox did, which is nice. You have to have some sort of clearance in there because you don't want to have it too big, because you don't want to be too tight and then possibly have some sort of expansion issues with heat, because this is a steel insert, this is aluminum, this will expand more than this does, blah, 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 blah. However, I would like to see at least 2 of these, but that's just the way it is. At least you get this really nice large engagement over here, and these 2 fairly large, probably 1-inch sections over here on the claw. And they are held on by these 4 screws right there that, when removed, will expose the stainless steel inserts on the inside. So whenever you torque this down, you don't have to worry about possibly slightly over torquing it, because at least you have helicoils in there. So you have steel on steel, which is always better than steel on aluminum, which is a very nice feature. However, you still don't want to over torque these. I always recommend getting a torque wrench, because the last thing you want to do is either strip something out or crush the tube on your optic. I've had optics in the past that I've gotten used that the tubes were actually deformed because people were just locking the crap out of them. 15 to 18 inch-pounds and as much as 30 to 40 inch-pounds on the cross slide. So do yourself a favor, buy yourself a torque wrench, link in the description below, just get it. It's worth its weight in gold. But at least this being a Vortex product, if you do destroy it, you send it back to get a new one. As far as the rest of the mount goes, this is just a little bit of shkookum. Don't worry about that. You have a decently wide base over here, which is good enough for most scope leveling, which is nice. And the overall finish is pretty good. It's got a nice slick finish to it. Nail is barely popping up there and easily wipes off. And this is good because if this thing gets dirty, plastered with mud or anything like that, it should come off fairly trouble-free. You do see a slight difference in finishes on the actual body to the cap itself, but that could either be a finishing issue or a difference in material from like a 6061 to a 7075 or something like that. I would not be surprised if they ran slightly harder, more durable materials on things like the claw and the cap to prevent any deformation under the screws. I already took the liberty of taking one of the caps off. Whoa. Don't lose that screw. And as you can see, you have beautiful machining done to this thing. There's no marks that I could visually see, which is nice. And you have about 3/16 of an inch under the head of the screw, so you don't have to worry about deforming it too much. Plenty of threads come out, so you don't have to worry about stripping out the base threads. Now, in here, there are no inserts, so you can very easily strip these out, but at 15, 18 inch-pounds, that's much less of a concern than deforming your scope tube. Your scope tube will probably collapse first before you ever have to worry about stripping these out. Overall, this thing is pretty nice, but let me get this back together, let's weigh it up, and then let's put a scope in it, see how it resets, and go on from there. So, again, if you watch my Swamp Fox video, you find this thing comes in just under 7 ounces, which all things considered isn't too bad. It's a $100 mount, it seems to be very well made, and it comes in under 7 ounces, and it usually comes free with some optics, sometimes the year with some sort of sales. That's pretty damn impressive. But still, if you wanted to go lighter, one of the lightest options you can get is an Aero Ultralight, which comes in basically half the weight, which is utterly, utterly, utterly impressive. But it doesn't matter about anything if it does not hold a 0 and easily is repeatable. So I'm going to throw a scope in this, and we're going to go and see how well it performs that action.
Vortex Cantilever mount. You are looking through the SWFA fixed 16X. The reason why all that weird shadowing and slightly bad image on the outside, I don't have this perfectly lined up lengthwise. This is just real quick and easy and dirty. Down and dirty, baby. Let's go. Center crosshair is perfectly lined up. This is torqued down to 20 inch-pounds. These are small screws that are holding this side claw on. I'm loosening them up. It's going to take a little bit of time, so please forgive that. You can see we're loose. I'm going to push forward. I'm going to snug them up, the two inside, then the two outside, and then I'm going to torque them down to 20 inch-pounds. I will skip ahead. All right, we're doing the front inside, rear inside, front outside, rear outside. Damn near perfect. Okay, excellent. Excellent. See, very loose. Torquing down the inside, inside front, inside rear, outside front, outside rear. That thing is spot on. All right, one more time for good luck. We are loosey-goosey, as you can see. Push forward, front inside, rear inside, front outside, rear outside. Would you look at that? Basically a perfect performance.
Well, I'll be damned. I guess it really goes to show that it's more quality over quantity. You see, you could have 20 locks that'll interlock with your 1913 rail, but if they're not properly machined and toleranced, it's never going to hold properly. Or you could have a rail twice the length of this on both sides with 20 screws. But again, if it's not machined properly, it's never going to be repeatable. Consistency is the key to accuracy, and the more consistent you can make all of your lines being perfectly straight, perpendicular, square, this, that, the next thing, the better the product you're going to get. And this, I feel, is a pretty good testament. For the price, about $100, or sometimes even less, or sometimes even free with the purchase of like a Strike Eagle, and this with a Strike Eagle 1-6 Gen 2, I think you can get them when they pop up for like low to mid threes, which is just like I'm breaking my shelf. That's fantastic. This is a pretty solid mount, and would I spend $100 on this? If I was looking for a fairly sleek, fairly lightweight, inexpensive, permanent solution cantilever mount, I would absolutely not throw this off the list. This would definitely be towards the top. Definitely above something like the Swamp Fox mount that we looked at. If this is on your list, highly consider it, because I think for the money this is pretty damn good. Anyway, with that, thank you very much for watching, and as always, see you again next time. And a very huge thank you to all of my Patreon providers. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. If you'd like to help support the channel but don't want to join my Patreon, I completely understand. But you can still help support by using my affiliate links in the description below. Thanks again for watching.